Calling all authors, the Your Book, Your Voice podcast, hosted by Robert A. Lane, is on the air, featuring everything you need to know about narrating your own audiobook. But it doesn't stop there. From special guests, including authors and professionals from the book industry, to sharing tools and techniques needed to be a confident and compelling narrator. The journey starts now. So please welcome your host, Robert A. Lane.
Hey, my friends, how are you today? This is the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Super excited. This is our new time. We used to do this podcast live every Thursday night, but now here we are Wednesdays during the day. Love it. And super glad to be able to talk with you and share about the audiobook world. The Your Book, Your Voice podcast. I am an audiobook coach and producer, and I do focus on helping nonfiction authors. I have a lot of nonfiction authors as clients and some fiction too, but getting you as the author to narrate your own audiobook, because it is so important for you to tell your story in your own voice, which is why today's episode is called Your Voice is Your Legacy, because it really is. You're leaving this wonderful legacy in your own voice when you narrate your own audiobook. And that's so important, especially for you as an author and your author brand. Remember, if you've written a book, right? You wrote a book, you published it, it's already out there in the world. You're an entrepreneur. You are an entrepreneur, so embrace entrepreneurship. It's a wonderful thing. It's tough, but it's a wonderful thing. It really is. So embrace your entrepreneurship, because any author that has published a book, I consider you a professional. I never consider any author a hobbyist, because you're not, because you put the blood, sweat, and tears and money and effort and everything into creating the book that you published. So as an author, you are a brand, which means, again, you are an entrepreneur. This is your business. Your author brand is your business. And of course, your products being your ebook, your paperback, your hardcover, and of course, your audiobook are great formats for your followers and listeners to enjoy your book. So yeah, embrace that entrepreneurship. It's really fantastic. So your author brand, and this is the way I look at it, and hopefully this resonates with you, is that your author brand is everything that encompasses who you are. Everything that encompasses who you are. The way you were brought up, your belief systems, your habits, your personality, your sense of humor, your morals, your values, everything about you is what creates who you are. And that creation of who you are is what makes you so unique and what allows you to stand out in the crowd as an author. I've worked with many authors who've gone through my audiobook coaching program that have written memoirs. I've worked with coaches as well. And again, putting your unique stamp, which is who you are, your author brand, into your writing, your voice is already in your written word. So that's why it just makes complete sense for you as an author, because you are the CEO of you. I use that catchphrase all the time. You are the CEO of you. And again, this is your brand. Make decisions to move your author brand forward. Now, leaving a legacy is great. And I understand that. I've gone through the process. Here's my book that I did. I self-published, Lights Action You. This came out in October of 2022 and did the self-publishing route. And I also, again, a little piece of advice, if you need help, get it, especially as an entrepreneur, because at that time, I was not too familiar about what it took to really write a book and to do it right and to do it properly. And so I got help. I hired a great book coach. He had this awesome coaching program, one of those high-ticket programs. But you know what? It was worth every penny. And I'm glad I did this, because I would not have been able to publish this book to have the same quality as having a book that's been self-published versus a book that was published by a traditional publisher, and you can't tell the difference. Then you know you did it right. And that was important, because you don't cut corners. You don't cut corners at all with your business. As an author, you're a brand. This is your brand. You got to protect your business, and you got to put the best quality product that's out there. So I know that when you wrote your book, you didn't skimp on creating the book, and you hired a team of people, hopefully, to help you through the process, getting an editor or a proofreader, or maybe you have someone to help you with story development, or maybe you do need a book coach, and then you have a formatter, a cover designer, all these pieces of the puzzle that you need to create a great book. That's putting a great team together. The same thing applies when you are creating your audiobook. Get a great team of people together to help you through the process if you need help. And this is why I do what I do as an audiobook coach and producer. I'll talk about my program a little bit later on, but I do want to focus again on our topic, which is legacy. Now, you've written a book, or maybe you're in the process of writing a book, and that is great because you are leaving a legacy in print form. But what is so awesome today is that we have the technology to be able to create an audiobook in our own voice, to tell our story in our own voice. And that's really, really important because you do want to share and tell your story the way that you want it to be heard and the way that you want it to be told. Now, you have options, right? I'm a big advocate that, first of all nonfiction authors need to narrate your own audiobook. You just do. It's your story. No one can tell your story better than you. Fiction authors, you can tell your own story, even as a fiction author. If it's written as a narrative, of course you can narrate it. I was just talking to an author who is looking to sign up into my audiobook coaching program to help him do his narration of his fiction book. And he has a handful of characters. There's 2 main characters in it. But again, as I read through his manuscript and really gave it a good analysis to see, okay, would it be good for this author to narrate his own audiobook, or should he hire a professional voiceover person to do character voices and that kind of thing? And as I read this story, it's a drama, and he can tell this story with the compassion and the energy and the emotion that's in his written word, and it'll come off great because his content is fantastic and the story is incredibly compelling. So in his case, absolutely, as a nonfiction author, yeah, narrate your own audiobook. You can do it. And you do have what it takes to do it. And again, the beauty of doing this is that you're leaving your legacy in your own voice. It's one thing to have a narrator. Now, the thing with having a narrator, and there's a lot of great narrators out there, and I don't knock professional narrators at all because they do a wonderful job. Technically, they sound great. But especially for nonfiction, and especially if it's a memoir, the narrator is going to sound fine, technically. But when it comes to the emotional aspect, they didn't live your story. So it's still their interpretation, not yours. And that's something to really keep in mind, which is why you need to narrate your book. So, for example, I've had a couple of authors, actually, who wrote memoirs and who actually have created coaching programs from their book afterwards, which is great. I'm glad they did that. But they shared their journey about cancer, being cancer survivors, and pretty intense memoirs. But the point is, they narrated their own story because they lived it. This is coming from first person, and that makes all the difference in the world. That's why, wouldn't it have been great to have this technology way back in the day? Leonardo da Vinci writing or doing an audiobook about art, right? Having it come from the source. That's pretty awesome. It would be great to hear it, as opposed to some historian writing it from, third person about somebody else. When it comes from the source, it makes all the difference in the world, because then they're telling their story the way that they want it to be told and the way that they want it to be heard. Would have been great if we had that technology, but now we do. So leaving your legacy in your own voice is super important, because again, 100 years from now, someone can hear you in your own voice tell your story from first person, from the person who actually lived it and breathed it and experienced it, as opposed, again, to somebody just talking about your story or writing about your story without actually having lived it. And that is such a great thing to have as part of your author brand. And leaving this legacy is so important. It's so important. Now, if you're not familiar with the audiobook recording process, I just want to give you a quick bird's eye view of what it takes to record an audiobook. And because I know I get a lot of authors, there's a couple of things that I hear quite often from authors. And one of them is, it just seems so overwhelming to do an audiobook. There's all this stuff you have to do. It is a process, absolutely. But that's why I say, if you need help, get it. Get somebody on your team to walk you through the process. This is why I coach authors through the audiobook process. A quick bit of background about me, and that is I have worked 30 plus years in the entertainment industry before I started Robert Lane Coaching. And I started my business as a career coach and life coach, wrote my book, did the audiobook because I was always an audio guy. I have over 25 years plus experience doing audio editing for film and voiceover, and I worked in radio, did all that stuff. So I'm bringing all that to the table, of course. After I published my audiobook, authors were approaching me, asking me, how can I help them? And that's why I created the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program, which, again, I'll give you details about that later. But again, if you need help, get it. And I love doing it because really, you know what the reward is? When I hear you narrate your own audiobook and I see the joy and the excitement that you get out of doing that narration and just walking with you one-on-one through the entire process and seeing the progress that you're making, and then hearing the final product, to me, that's super exciting. And that is just such a reward for me. I'm not coming from the coaching standpoint. It's your work. Hearing you do the narration and like, wow, that was fantastic. Love that. Love that. So the recording process can be overwhelming, but this is why I do what I do to help you through that process. So it isn't, because I want you to focus on doing a great narration. That's it. Do a great narration. And I've coached a lot of authors. I have yet to come across an author where I felt that their voice just wasn't going to cut it. And I will be completely honest with you. I always do a consultation, an audiobook consultation with any author that's interested in working with me and helping them create their audiobook. We talk about it first. And if I feel that your voice isn't going to cut it, then I will suggest having you get a narrator. But that hasn't happened. And I don't expect it to, because you know what? Your voice is part of your author brand. Again, that's part of who you are. That's what makes you, you. That is what makes you so unique. So love your voice, embrace your voice. You do have what it takes to do a great audiobook narration. You absolutely do. You have what it takes. Your personality, everything about you, as I mentioned earlier, everything that encompasses who you are, being your author brand, that all comes out in your narration. And that does allow you to stand out in the crowd. For example, let's say you're a coach, let's say a weight loss coach, and you've created a coaching program and you've written a book about it. Weight loss coach A, weight loss coach B. Here are two coaches who are equally qualified. They may have similar programs that they teach. Weight loss coach A has a book. Weight loss coach B doesn't have a book, right? Weight loss coach A is going to get more clients because now they have something that people can not only read, but now they can hear the coach narrate their book, talk about their book, talk about their coaching program, hear how they teach, basically. And Coach A is going to resonate with a certain group of people as opposed to Coach B. And that, again, is part of the uniqueness. That's what resonates and brings clients to you as a coach, because they resonate with you, all right? And when you are out there with your voice, with your audiobook, people can hear you and connect with you. So that's another reason why, again, you need to narrate your own audiobook. You wouldn't have another narrator narrating your coaching program. That doesn't make sense, right? It's your coaching program. You should be narrating it, right? So that's, again, how you leave your legacy as well. And it's a great calling card for this audiobook so people can actually hear you. I mentioned earlier about a couple of the authors that I've worked with sharing their cancer journey. One of the authors, she created a whole coaching program that she now is able to sell to hospitals and to cancer treatment centers and to cancer patients, and she does all this great stuff all because of her audiobook. And she uses her audiobook as a calling card to get speaking engagements, which is another great thing about having you narrate your own audiobook, because it really is a great calling card for people to hear you speak, to hear you tell your story. It's a really great way to do that. And you have to think outside the box when it comes to marketing yourself as an author and your products, because speaking gigs are great. Going to do book signings are great. There are other things that you can do to bring in more revenue as an author than just only trying to sell your book on, Audible, Amazon, and Apple, or any other distribution platform, both for the physical or digital copy of your book and also for the audiobook. Think outside the box, because that's how you're going to make more revenue. The other great thing, by the way, and I will get back to the audiobook process, but just something that just popped in my head is that when people buy audiobooks, and there are a ton of people who go and get audiobooks first before they get any other format, they'll buy your audiobook. And then they'll also buy one of the other formats, and that's becoming a common practice. They'll get your audiobook, and if they love what they hear, they're going to get your ebook or maybe your paperback or hardcover. I like getting the paperback because that way I can highlight, when I'm listening to a great audiobook, I just highlight in that paperback, I follow along, and it's great, and that actually can give you a little bit of extra revenue as an author. So that's cool too. All right, so let's go back to the process of creating your audiobook. Now, when you do record your audiobook, yeah, of course, as I said, I hear it being very overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. And just love your voice. Again, love your voice, because you know what? That's who you are, and that's part of your author brand. And by you saying you hate your voice, no, that's a false belief. There's usually some kind of fear that's tied into having that, telling yourself that, but that's not true. Okay, so let's crush that false belief. All right, so when you do record your audiobook, again, it is a process, but the actual recording process isn't as crazy and overwhelmed as you think. So for example, I'll use my book as an example here. When I wrote my book, I have 14 chapters in this book, okay? So that every part of your book is a separate audio file. All right, so 14 chapters, 14 audio files. Then you have the other pieces of your book, the front matter, the back matter. You got your opening credits, closing credits, acknowledgments, dedication page, introduction, maybe you have a foreword, maybe you have an afterword, a prologue, an epilogue. There's all these different pieces of your book. Everything is a separate audio file. So what that does when you're recording your audiobook is it allows you to take things a step at a time, so you don't feel so overwhelmed trying to record everything at once, because you don't want to do it that way, because that's not going to create a good audiobook. You're going to get tired, your energy is going to drop, and you're going to hear it, all right? Your voice is going to get rough. You want it to be consistent from opening credits to closing credits in quality and in energy. So by recording it in pieces a step at a time, it makes it so much easier. And for the authors I work with, I suggest that they record in linear fashion, because that's how they wrote their book, and it just makes it flow a lot easier. So it's really not as overwhelming. Now, there are other things that you need to do for your audiobook. And again, I'll get into that in just a minute. But for the actual process, it's not that bad, right? It's not that bad. You can do it. You really can. By the way, I do want to share with you a couple of things, and I have links in the description. First of all, we are streaming live on YouTube and LinkedIn, which I'm super glad to be. Subscribe to the YouTube page, all right? Subscribe, follow and subscribe. Hit that notification button, all those things that everybody says on YouTube. You got to do it, okay? And if you're on LinkedIn and you're watching on LinkedIn, I have my YouTube page, which is Robert Lane Coaching. The link is in the description as well. So click and subscribe. Click and subscribe, because we do this podcast every week. And if you've missed a podcast from our old time, then everything is archived on the YouTube page. All right. And I also do a coffee chat, which I'll get into that in just a second. But a couple things I wanted to share with you. First of all, I have an audiobook narration reference guide. It's my free gift to you. And again, the link is in the description, but you can write that link down there on the graphic that you see. For those of you that are hearing the audio only version of this podcast, the link is a bit.ly link. It's bit.ly/narration reference guide. That's say that again, bit.ly/narration reference guide. Again, you can go to robertlanecoaching.com as well, and you'll see everything there. The free narration guides are right up there on the homepage. But grab yourself a copy of it, because in this narration guide, it's a downloadable PDF. I share with you tools and techniques on how to do a great audiobook narration. So would love to have you grab a copy of that. And again, as I mentioned before, you can go to the website at robertlanecoaching.com for all this information as well. Now, I do want to share with you a little bit more of the process of what it takes to create a great audiobook. Now, of course, I'm a big advocate of you recording and narrating your own audiobook. And in my audiobook coaching program, which is called Your Book, Your Voice, I provide the professional equipment for you, microphone, headphones, and I don't mean cheapy stuff, because I don't believe in cutting corners. Not at all, right? You're getting like high quality stuff. You're getting $500 worth of equipment when you enroll in the VIP program. So, and that's yours to keep. So I teach you how to set up your own recording space. And then we go over the fine art of how to do a great audiobook narration. And we talk about marketing strategies as well, things that you can do while you're recording your audiobook to create hype. Pre-launch, during the launch, post-launch marketing, all that stuff is super important. So we talk about that as well. And then the next phase, and this is really important, and I find that there's quite a few authors that don't really think about this. They think, oh, I can just record my audiobook on my phone and memos or something. It's like, no, you can't. It's not going to be good enough quality, because the next phase is you have to have a professional editor go through it, and I mean go through it in real time, to not only clean it up, but make sure that your audio files meet the exact specifications for publication. Because if they don't, guess what? Audible, Amazon, Apple, and any other distribution platform will reject your audio. And that is not a good thing. You don't want that to happen. All right. So that's part of what I do in the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program, is as you're recording your audio files, you send them to me. So my coaching hat comes off, the editor's hat comes on. And as an audio editor, I listen to everything in real time. And I will remove mouth noises. I'll listen for some anomalous things that maybe don't belong in there. If there are any issues, I just let the author know, hey, can you redo this sentence? And then they record it, send it back to me, I pop it back in, it's all good. But the editing process, the hours that I spend doing it, are hours that definitely need to be done to do an audiobook correctly, properly, so that you get published the first time. You got to do that. You know, there's some other editors or companies out there that say, oh, here, give me, send me your audiobook. Let's say your audiobook's recorded. It's maybe 8 hours or 10 hours long. And they're like, we'll have this all cleaned up and ready to go, in an hour or two. That's a huge red flag, because that tells me that they haven't even listened to your audiobook. And there are other things that will be missed. You can remove little ticks and noises maybe by running it through some kind of restoration program, but that's not good enough, because there are going to be things that are going to be missed. And especially by not listening to that audiobook in real time. What if there's a slurred word? What if you have a mispronunciation? It's not going to be caught. What if there's too much space between a paragraph or a sentence? Maybe you took a pause and you were just getting your bearings before continuing on with your narration. Or maybe something was rushed and it just doesn't seem right. You've got to have an editor get in there and fix these things, because that's not going to be caught with somebody who just runs something through some restoration program and then say, okay, all done, it's all clean. Not good enough. So you got to make sure your editing is top notch. The other thing I do for my authors who go through the VIP program is I upload the audio for you. help you set up your publication account to get published in Audible, Amazon, and Apple. But I do all the uploading for you. Because if there ever is an issue, it's rare, but sometimes when those audio files are analyzed, you upload something and you get a rejection, it'll tell you, it gives you a list, okay, this is what's wrong with this audio file. Great, I know about it. I go back, make changes, do the fixes, remaster, and re-upload so that I know 100% that your audiobook will be published correctly the first time. All right. All right. So, and then of course, you do keep everything. It's your audiobook. You get all the mastered files. And of course, you own everything. And there's no, I don't take percentages. Some narrators do, some other companies do. Oh, we'll take a percentage of your sales, et cetera, et cetera. I don't believe in that either. I expect you to own it outright. So that's what I do as an audiobook coach and producer. So again, if you are interested, the first step, of course, is just to book a call with me. There's a link in the description to schedule a free audiobook consultation call. I talk to every author before I enroll anybody into the program, and I'll give you more information about the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program. So again, if you want to book a call, again, go to robertlanecoaching.com, or there is a link that you can grab. It's another bit.ly link, bit.ly audiobook onboarding. That's bit.ly audiobook onboarding. That'll take you directly to my calendar. You speak with me directly. As a matter of fact, you will work with me directly because I only do one-on-one coaching in the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching VIP program. We work one-on-one. It's a great 12-week program that takes you through the entire process, and I'm there with you every step of the way. Now, I also have a do-it-yourself version of the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program. Again, book your call so we can talk about that as well. Now, I do want to say that if there are any topics or questions that you have about the audiobook world, this is why I do the podcast. Reach out to me. You can shoot me a message. You can put something in the comments if you have a topic and say, hey, I'd like to find out about audio editing, or I'd like to find out about distribution, or anything, or tell me more about the audiobook world. Is it growing? Is it expanding? What's going on in there? Why do I need to be in the audiobook world? Whatever you want to ask, I'd love to hear about it, and I will answer those questions for you. And if you have a great topic, I'll create a great topic and have that for the podcast. Now, I do have a coffee chat. I do want to mention this quickly. I was just going to say that the next episode is called Audiobook Marketing Strategies That Won't Break the Bank. Things that you can do on my next coffee chat that will help you get your audiobook out there, right? Now, the coffee chat is every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. in the UK. Join me for that. I do this live as well. I keep this very open forum, and it's not very long. But again, bring your questions, join in on the conversation. This is why I love doing these live, because it gives you an opportunity to participate, and that's a good thing. Now, I may be traveling tomorrow, which is the 10th of July. This is when I'm doing this on the 9th. So if you're listening to a replay and it's past that date, don't worry about it. But I just wanted to give you a heads up, just in case, since we are live right now, that I may be traveling tomorrow. So if I don't have coffee chat tomorrow, it will be next Thursday, and we'll keep the same topic for coffee chat. All right. Now we're just about out of time here for the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. Again, I do appreciate you joining me, and if you want to participate, always go into the comments and in the chat and answer questions, or tell me about your book. I'd love to hear about that as well. And again, this is the new podcast time. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. on the East Coast. Join me here on LinkedIn and YouTube as we do this live. And then the following day, this podcast will be available on your favorite podcast platform. Spotify, Google, Apple, whatever, all those other podcast platforms, the audio version will be out on that the following day. So, and again, as I said, the link there is a link for my YouTube channel in the description. Subscribe, all right, so you don't miss a podcast and you don't miss a coffee chat. All right, my friends, one last thing that I want to share with you is this. When you're out and about in the world, smile at a stranger, all right? Say hello to them, because that small gesture of kindness can make the world of difference in somebody's life. This will be a life changer. All right, I'm Robert A. Lane. This is the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. Again, if you want more information about the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program, go to robertlanecoaching.com. And we will see you next week at this same new time, which is, again, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time, right here to catch the Your Book, Your Voice podcast live. All right, my friends, have a fantastic day and a fantastic week. Take care.
This has been Your Book, Your Voice with host Robert A. Lane. Tune in each week for another powerful and informative episode. And remember, only you can narrate your story the way it's meant to be heard.